During my travels, I met people who prefer to live without a smartphone and someone even without a bank account. It's hard to imagine, right? We are so entwined in our digital lives that we can't think of a world without it. We use apps to order food, transfer money, interact with strangers, book a doctor's appointment, and even switch on our lights. Hell, my whole career for 6 years was about typing on a keyboard sitting in front of a computer. It may be impossible to meditate for an hour, but 3 hours straight on a smartphone seems no big deal. The world is changing and it's getting increasingly difficult to not let technology hijack our lives. We are so connected, yet we are so disconnected than ever, if that makes sense. But I feel technology can be a boon or a bane depending on how we interact with it. And Google says it best. Great technology should improve your life, not distract you from it. Hi, I'm Raksha, and this video is about how to take care of yourself in the era of technology. I came across this concept of digital self-care early this year when I took up a random course on the same subject, and it made so much sense to me. Yeah, I'm weird like that. I take up random courses on the internet. Judge all you want. So coming back to the topic, this video is about the kind of problems that we are facing and potential solutions. This is more of an instructional sort of video, and if you'd like, I can publish my own digital self-care routine as well, so let me know in the comments below. I think this topic is more relevant than ever now during Corona times because our outgoing activities are increasingly being replaced by smartphones or laptops. I understand that it gets difficult to disconnect in an increasingly digital world, and I'm not saying that I've mastered it yet, and that's why I thought of making this video so that people are more aware and understand that they are not alone. But most importantly, on how to navigate through this era of overconsumption and coexist with technology in a way that enriches our lives. So what is digital self-care? Too much of anything can get toxic very quickly, and technology is no different. Digital self-care is the process of prioritizing your needs first so that tech doesn't take advantage of you. It's about having a healthy relationship with technology. The problem is that we are spending so much time on our digital devices that it's taking over our lives. It's become so easy to replace boredom with compulsive screen time. They're designed in such a way that you keep scrolling through the apps and they try to squeeze the maximum amount of time from you. Being a computer science engineer for around 6 years now, I understand it all too well. Let me just walk you through in a jiffy. Suppose you're building a smartphone app, then your primary metric would be to see how many people are installing the app, and the idea is to get as many installs as you can. Once you have enough, then you focus on how many people are coming back to your app day after day, week after week, or month after month. That is the number of active users. And once you have active users, it matters how long they are going to stay in your apps. The more the better, right? So the apps are designed in such a way that they make people addicted to it and they spend the maximum amount of time there. And we all have few dozen apps on our phone at least, and they're all vying for our attention. And obviously it's working. Our attention spans are getting shorter, our patience is running thinner, and we have bigger lives in the realm of technology than in our own lives. Of course, the most obvious way to go about it is priorities, right? Prioritizing your time and attention to reflect the things that you want in life. And basically having an ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese concept and it's explained in detail in the book by the same name. It simply means reason of being, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. I came across this concept of flow in Ikigai and it's right on point. Flow is essentially a state where you're so immersed in an activity that you lose sense of time and space, basically when you are in the zone. Think about all the things that put you in a flow state and do more of those things. It could be different things to different people. For me, I've reached a flow state in coding, dancing, working out, video editing, and writing. When you're in a flow state, you don't care about scrolling through your phone or if you have gotten any notifications. You're blissfully unaware. With so many apps competing for our attention, it's no surprise that we are so easily distracted. So the crucial aspect of digital self-care is identifying the distractions where you're over-consuming and why is it bad. For some, it could be social media or watching videos or games. So it could be different things to different people. And for instance, if I take myself, I just go to Instagram sometimes without having an intention, just because I'm bored. Probably I could do something else during that time. And I think it's important to identify your distractions where you're over-consuming and why is it bad. And then replace it with something that's more productive or something that you would like to do. Don't get me wrong, I think consumption is essential. Suppose you are a writer, then you need to read books. Suppose you're a videographer, then you need to watch movies. But I think overconsumption is the problem. I read a Medium article a few years ago about creating versus consuming, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, creation is beneficial for your growth and takes you forward. Creation might make us feel fulfilled, but overconsumption might make us feel empty. So, the idea here is to replace overconsumption with something that gives you fulfillment. It could be something productive, or it could be something that makes you feel good. Creating could be anything. It could be a painting or growing vegetables or even creating a piece of code. Something that's special to you. The problem is that our smartphones are more like an extension to our body and we take it everywhere we go. Some people even take it to the toilet. That's not me most days. I think there are so many important things to use your willpower on, and if you're using it to not check notifications on your phone and not get distracted by it, I think it's just wasted energy. Since last month, my phone battery has been dying very quickly and I had to charge my phone 2 or 3 times, and it came to a point that right after I take my phone from charging, it would come for about less than 5 minutes and then it would switch off, which meant I had limited amount of time on my phone, and I would make sure that whatever I had to do, I would optimally use my phone. And that meant I was focusing on other aspects of my life. And I'm not saying you have to take drastic measures of destroying your phone like I did, but here are some ways to reduce your access. Keep your phone in the other room. Turn notifications off, and for those you can't, maybe just disable the notification sounds. I'm sure we can all do with less distractions. I have most of the notifications on my phone turned off, including WhatsApp, and I only check it when I want to check it. And I'm sure if somebody has something urgent coming up, they will call me. And use technology to your advantage. If typing is more time consuming, then you can send a voice recording instead. So a lot of these smartphone apps also have web versions, right? So most of the times you can get away with uninstalling the app so that you can only check it on your laptop. While it may be so obvious when we are spending 3 to 4 hours on commute to work, it may not be so obvious when you're spending 3 to 4 hours on your phone. Use apps to track the time that you're spending on the phone. When you see the data, I think you're more inclined towards making changes. For me, it's really demeaning when I see 2 to 3 hours on my phone, and when I see that, I'm more inclined towards making changes. It gives me a kick in the butt that I need from time to time. Digital well-being on Android and screen time on iOS is meant for this specific purpose. And the best part is, it not only tracks data, you can set timer for most apps, and after the timer has ended, the app is paused for the rest of the day. But mind is a tricky thing. It tends to forget things very quickly. So the best way to beat excessive screen time is to build routines into your daily life. When it's part of your routine, it turns into a habit, and habits are easy to follow. Like initially how I used to forget wearing mask when stepping out, and now I don't step out without my mask. So it's become part of my going out routine. I have an app for meditating, for an audiobook, and sometimes even for a workout. And this way I use technology to enrich my life, and when I'm using these things, that means less screen time. And that's it for today. I hope this gave you an idea about digital self-care, and I hope you implement it in your life as well. Like I mentioned before, I'll make a video on my digital self-care routine if you're interested, so let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and see you next week. Bye bye.